The iron bolt slams back. Light floods the tunnel, a rectangle of white, blinding dust. The roar hits next, a physical weight from 80,000 voices demanding a spectacle. This is not sport. This is industry. We are in the heart of the Flavian amphitheater, the Colosseum, late 1st century AD. These are the brutal games of ancient Rome, but tonight we are not watching the noble gladiator. We are exploring the games that shocked Rome itself. The rust-colored sand, raked clean by slaves, is the great stage. It is the motif of this world, a thirsty ground that covers all sins. We think we know the sword and shield, but we don't know the naumachia, the sea battles in a flooded arena. We don't know the damnatio ad bestias, or the grotesque myth recreations that pushed even a Roman audience too far. Why did an empire built on order require such elaborate chaos? And what depths were they willing to sink to, just to keep the crowd watching? The sand was never just sand. If you enjoy these dark histories, leave a like and subscribe and comment below where you're listening from. And now, back to the story. The roar of the crowd is a muted thunder below the sand. Here, in the hypogeum, the labyrinth beneath the Colosseum, the air is different. It smells of damp stone, unwashed bodies, exotic manure, and fear. The air is thick with the smoke of oil lamps and the metallic tang of unslaked lime, used to dry the constant damp. This is the holding pen for the noxii, the condemned. These are not celebrated gladiators. They are prisoners of war, criminals, and adherents to foreign cults. They are marched from the damp darkness of the carcer, prison, and pushed into these vaulted tunnels. The transition is absolute. They are stripped of their names. A rough, undyed tunic is thrown at them. A guard with a stylus and wax tablet, a commentariensis, marks them off. He doesn't look at their faces. He consults his list, calls a number, and checks it off. They are no longer men or women. They are inventory. They are numbers, assigned to a specific gate, a specific hydraulic lift that will hoist them to their death. This is institutional control, perfected. This is bureaucracy in stone and iron. They are fed, but not for strength. They are given sagna, a wet, high-carb barley mash, to fatten them. A fatter body bleeds more slowly, more spectacularly, drawing out the moment for the crowd. A quiet resistance flickers. In one cell, a group of Dacian captives refuse the food. They are beaten, but the refusal is noted. In another, a small group scratches a symbol, a fish perhaps, into the dirt floor, covering it quickly when the guards pass. In the shadows, two prisoners whisper, not in Latin, but in their native Gallic tongue, a language of defiance in a place that demands uniformity. It is the only identity they have left. They are no longer people, they are props waiting for a cue. A lanista, a trainer of sorts, enters the cell. He doesn't carry a whip, he carries a wooden box. He is accompanied by a man holding the libellus, the day's program. Inside the box are not weapons, but crude theatrical props. Feathers, wax, animal skins, and grotesque masks. The lanista is the editor, the producer of the show. He inspects the prisoners. He is casting the meridiani, the midday executions. He offers the mercy. He points to a large man. Hercules, he points to a woman. Dirce, he motions to another. Orpheus. The mercy is knowing the script. The price is that your death will be a piece of grotesque, mocking theater. The Hercules will be given a real club, but he will be doused in pitch and set ablaze on a pyre, forced to burn alive as the myth demands. The Dirce will be tied to a raging bull to reenact her torment. The Orpheus will be given a lyre and led to the center of the arena, where bears will be released to tear him apart, a joke on the myth of his taming beasts. They were being forced to rehearse their own humiliation. The crowd wanted art, not just an execution. The trial is not held in a stone basilica with a magistrate. It happens in the damp hypogeum, under the flicker of an oil lamp. The lanista holds the mask for Orpheus, made of cheap wood and plaster. The condition is stated openly. You will wear this. You will carry the lyre. You will walk to the center mark. The archers will be merciful if the crowd enjoys the song. It is a lie. There are no archers. The libellus, program for the day's events, which the Lanista holds, clearly lists damnatio ad bestias, condemnation to the beasts. A man, one of the Christiani, Christians, captured in the city, looks at the mask. He is gaunt. His hands bound by rope, not iron. Iron is expensive. The Lanista pushes the mask toward him. Take it. Die as a legend. The man looks at the floor, at the symbol a previous prisoner had scratched in the dust. He looks back at the Lanista. His voice is dry, a whisper of gravel. I do not know that name. It is a simple, cold refusal. It is not a grand speech. It is a statement of fact. The Lanista's face does not change. This is not a negotiation. He gestures to the guards. The soft pressure is over. The escalation begins. The man is moved to a separate cell, a narrow slot in the foundation stone, barely wide enough to sit. The first stage is deprivation. No sagina mash, no water. He is left with his own thirst. The guards do not speak to him. His existence is an administrative problem, soon to be solved. He is no longer a man. He was just meat, waiting for a schedule. The final stage is silence. The night before the games, the hypogeum is never quiet. Animals roar, mechanisms are tested, guards shout. But in his cell, the silence is absolute. He is isolated, an object waiting for the lift. This is the moment we resolve the core question. Why? Why did an empire of law need this grotesque theater? Because the games were not about sport. They were about control. The Roman state was showing its absolute power, not just over life and death, but over reality itself. The philosopher Seneca, disgusted, wrote of the meridiani, midday executions. Man, a sacred thing to man, is now killed for sport and pleasure. He complained that the crowd roared, "Kill him! Flog him! Burn him! Why is he so afraid of the sword?" The games were a tool of mass desensitization. By forcing a prisoner to die as Orpheus, the state was mocking his identity, his legend, and his god, all at once. It was a warning to the 80,000 people watching. We own your myths. We own your body. We own your death. The price of this control was Roman humanitas, their own humanity. But in that cold cell, an inversion occurs. The thing meant to break the prisoner, his faith, his stubborn identity, becomes his armor. By refusing the mask of Orpheus, he has denied them their script. He cannot control his death, but he can control its meaning. His silence becomes a weapon. His deprivation becomes a fast. The stone cell, meant to be a tomb, becomes a vigil. The state intended to break him with its theater, but he has refused the role. He will die, but he will not perform. The sun will rise, and the crowd will demand their show. The games are over. The sound is gone. The crowd has vanished, leaving only a sea of refuse in the stands. In the arena, the libidinari, the undertakers, do their work. They are slaves, dressed in the grotesque masks of Charon, the ferryman. Their job is to poke the bodies with hot irons to ensure they are dead, then drag them through the gate of Libitina, the gate of death. After them come the fossoras, the diggers. Their job is to clean the stage. They rake the heavy, wet sand, our motif. They scrape the gore, the theatrical props, and the fragments of bone, dumping it all into carts. One fossor stops. His rake has caught on something hard. It is not a helmet or a sword fragment. He pulls it from the red-black sand. It is a small piece of wood, crudely carved. It is a fish, just like the one scratched into the cell floor in the hypogeum. He looks at the object. He sees the guard at the far gate, silhouetted against the setting sun, talking to another guard. Wordlessly, the slave looks down at the carving. It is an echo of a defiance he understands. He closes his fist around it. He walks to the edge of the arena, where the stone wall meets the sand, and with his heel, he digs a small hole. He drops the fish into the darkness and covers it, tamping the sand down with his foot. It is a wordless rite, not a burial, but a concealment. An act of memory, saving one small truth from the cart bound for the city's dumping ground. The sand, meant to absorb and erase, has instead become a vault. But what became of the man who refused the mask of Orpheus? We do not have his name, but we have the libellus, the program for the day's events. Archived papyri fragments from Roman Egypt, preserve copies of these schedules. They list the meridiani, the midday show. They list the myth of Orpheus, but following it, they list an unnamed noxius, sentenced ad bestias. This is the hidden truth. The man who refused the mask was not killed as Orpheus. He broke the script. The lanista, denied his theater, simply reverted to a base execution. The man was pushed onto the sand without a costume, without a lyre, and the beasts were released. He died, but he died as himself. In the late 19th century, archaeologists began the first systematic excavations of the Colosseum's flooded hypogeum. They cleared the centuries of silt and stone, and they found what the slaves had hidden. Excavation logs cautiously note the discovery of graffiti on the cell walls, hidden from the main passages. They found small carved tokens, like the fish, and amulets dropped, perhaps deliberately, into the drainage grates. The state built a machine to erase identity, but the victims left their marks in the stone and in the sand. The arena, designed as a theater of propaganda, accidentally became an archive of resistance. The machine had a ghost. The games conclude. The commentariensis, the clerk, takes his stylus. He scrapes the wax tablet clean. The number assigned to the unnamed noxius is now vacant. It will be assigned to a new arrival before the oil lamps are refilled. This is the bureaucracy of erasure. In the state's official acta, records, the day is a success. The entry notes the number of beasts, the cost of the grain, the pleasure of the crowd. There are no names for the noxii. The ink is withheld. Their identities are burned, not on a pyre, but by simple administrative omission. They are a logistical expense, a debit against the imperial treasury, nothing more. The witnesses we have are distant. The historian Suetonius, obsessed with imperial gossip, might note that an emperor was profligate with his games, a complaint about cost, not cruelty. The poet Martial writes epigrams, not as testimony, but as critique of the entertainment. He complains when a beast is sluggish, or when a noxious dies too quickly. They are whispers, concerned with the quality of the show, not the humanity of the cast. The fossores, diggers, have finished their work. The hypogeum is washed with lime and water. The hydraulic lifts are oiled. A new layer of clean, thirsty sand, our motif, is raked smooth across the arena floor. It covers the stains. It covers the fish carved in the wood. It covers the memory. The sun rises. The iron bolt slams back. Light floods a different tunnel, a rectangle of white, blinding dust. A new group of prisoners hears the roar, a physical weight from 80,000 voices demanding a spectacle. The great machine, built of stone, iron, and silence, resets itself. Subscribe, hit the bell, and like. How many stories are buried beneath the sand?